Welcome to the Every Weekend Show, where we interview people with great influence in the world of entertainment. In this episode, your favorite presenters, Dirson and Diego, have brought you two great actors who bring to life the characters of Berlin and Tokyo. In this Spanish series that has come one of the greatest robbery fictions in history and a successful and worldwide phenomenon.
You already know the dynamic, but for the new ones, we can explain it again. We will separate the guests into two teams, so each of us can interview them separately. And at the end of the two interviews, the public will vote for the best interview. On this occasion, I will interview Pedro Alonso, who plays Berlin, and Diego will interview Úrsula Corberó, who plays Tokyo. All right, I'm here with Pedro Alonso. Good night.
Hi, Dirson. Good night to you too. Where's Diego? I can see him.
He's interviewing your partner in the other room.
Joder, I want to ask Diego for an autograph.
And you are not going to ask me?
Maybe later. Next question.
Okay, I think we know who Pedro would vote for in the end. Well, what I would like to talk to you about is what was your favorite part of the first season of the series?
As an actor, the scene that I enjoyed the most were all those that were recorded in the house, where all the robbers were planning every detail of the robbery, because at that moment I was acting calmer, more relaxed Berlin, who demonstrated to enjoy life in the company of friends, although he denied that they were friends, because the rest of the series I was an angry Berlin. And that was a little difficult to me because I'm really happy every moment. And with this character, I feel like it was a bad boy who, when he entered a room, no one can know what kind of danger he was going to cause, but you were sure that he would cause at least one. Even so, that was something that made my character stand out from the rest and make him one of the best characters in the series, because everyone knew that when Berlin appeared, something interesting was going to happen.
That was your answer like an actor, but if you had never acted and you would have seen the series as anyone in the audience, what would have been your favorite scene?
I think that in that case, my favorite scene would be when the guy sends her to the national mine. I think it is one of the best scenes in the whole series because when you see it, you think, wow, these guys really know what they are doing because it has a lot of action and suspense, and it makes you want to watch the rest of the show.
Yes, I think it was one of the most impressive moments that everyone enjoyed. And speaking of enjoying, what was the moment that you think that the entire cast enjoyed, or was the most interesting when you were recording?
Yes, it was a scene when a sniper shot Arturito on the roof and he was bleeding and they brought a paramedic and all of that. The interesting thing is when we were recording that scene, when they were swinging him up from the bullet wound, when we were implanting a microphone in his glasses, he felt a lot of adrenaline in the environment, and with all that adrenaline, we want everything to be perfect. And with all of that, Enrique Arce, who is the actor who plays Arturito, starts to scream. When we finished the scene, we were happy because it had gone well, and suddenly he gets up from the scratcher and shouts aloud, I think they really stood me up, and we all thought that he was joking, that how we acting that scene was very realistic, but when we showed us, they had really suited him. He had a synthetic leather suit attached to his real body.
Really? And how was the actor? Is he okay?
Yes, of course, as quickly as he was suited up in that scene, he was treated by a real health team. He didn't have any complications or anything like that.
Wow. Does that mean you are method actors?
I don't want to brag, but with that scene we show that we take our jobs seriously. And in my opinion, We have given the audience one of the most exciting and totally real scenes of all series in history.
Okay, okay. With that answer, you reminded me of someone narcissist, self-centered, and with delusions of grandness. Someone you know very well.
Ah, yes, okay, I get it.
Don't get me wrong, it's not bad at all. Whenever you play a character, you keep some of their thoughts. And in that case, of all the bad things that Berlin represented, could you mention something that you admire about Berlin?
In fact, I have learned a lot with Berlin. Do you remember that scene where Berlin tells his classmates about his illness?
Sure.
When I read that scene for the first time, many thoughts came to my head. This man has a disease that one person has for every 1,000 people, which makes him a very special and unfortunate person at the same time. He doesn't look the compassion of people. In fact, he doesn't expect anything from anyone because he knows that he has very little time left to live and that he must live as long as he can before dying. He lives it to the fullest every day, celebrating life, doing what he likes, because he knows that everything he does was because he enjoys it. And I think that is how we should all live. But of course, it is not necessary to break the law to be happy. You have to enjoy the little things in life and do what you or you will like without doing the opposite that ethics, morals, and the law tell us.
Good way to close. Thank you very much for your time.
And you're welcome. Well, thanks, Jason, for your interview with this great actor. And thanks to you, Mr. Pedro Alonso, for your time. And now, ladies and gentlemen, give me a round of applause to receive the talented actress Úrsula Corberó, who plays Tokyo at Money Heist. Well, Ursula, nice to meet you. Before we begin with your interview, I would like to say that I'm a big fan of yours, of your job at this great series, and say that let's start. Our first question is, what do you think that makes this series different from others?
Hi, Diego. It's also nice to meet you. And also, I would like to say that I love what you do with your son, with your program, and answering your question about this type of action genre of series, which has nothing to do with what we are used to seeing. But also, it's built because each chapter is like a movie. You can see that the construction of the characters has been done like when you shoot a movie from before, from the 90s, in which you spend a month rehearsing the same quality but current.
Okay, speaking of the characters, there are several polls all over the internet where people are asked about their favorite characters, and your character always appears in the top three. Did you know it? What do you think about that?
First of all, to accept that it is an honor to be loved by many people and to have the best fans that can exist. Well, the truth is that I did not expect all this attention that I am receiving. I knew that Tokyo was a very good character because part of the drama of the series is also part of Tokyo's lives and decisions. And I think I'm doing the right things to deserve all this from the production and the public. So I promise you that I will do much better for you.
Have they rehearsed a lot?
Very much. And there has been a previous conversation to get nice noses, and that shows a lot.
The shooting will have been so.
Yes, and very intense because the series requires a lot of physical effort. The action is pure adrenaline and hard, and after filming, when I got home, I couldn't get down. If you hit the day by hitting shots to see how you fall asleep later, it is that in this series there is a lot of rock and roll. It's all a frenzy.
The eight protagonists, the robbers, are not little angels. Would we ever love them?
That's where the debates come in. How do we know who is bad and who is good? Within the band of the rovers, there is a lot of a survivor who is not the kindest, but he had to know other options. And then there is how good hostages are. When you have so many people locked in one place, not all of them can be.
That your character is the narrator gives you more prominence.
Tokyo is the common thread. Everything is told through its main story. She does all the voice-overs and is the narrator of the story, but all the characters have weight and each one stars in.
Do you ever dare to imagine the success that Money Heist would have?
I'm always quite enthusiastic and I think that everything is going to be wonderful and incredible, but this is being much more wonderful and incredible than any of us could have thought.
Of course. I think we were all surprised that this series became the most watched and acclaimed in the Spanish language.
Yes, and we are all very grateful for it.
In the series, we can see when they are in that house planning everything. They look very friendly with each other, almost as if they were a family. In real life, you have that affection because that chemistry is very noticeable.
Everything that has happened in the series has a lot to do with the relationship that we have forget with our characters and a very beautiful relationship between all the actors. There is a lot of love in this group. We have shared many very intense moments and that is very good, but at the same time bad because when we finish the series, it will be as if something very important of us died. And in that case, we would only have to wait for the series to continue to meet again with everyone. In my case, these are the best companions I have had in my life, and it is a luxury to create on an artistic level with these people because there is trust and we all contribute and learn about ourselves, everything we like day by day.
Right. And since you are so close, what do you think that you have perhaps reached the top of your career and that you're now known worldwide? How do you live and endure all your fame?
It is an incredible experience, but at the same time, you have to sacrifice a lot because being in this situation, you think a lot about any moral life plan. You need to think about what day, what time, what people I can meet, what can happen because very is very probable wherever I go, there will be people who will recognize me, and in the best of the cases, they just want photos with me. We just have to know how to take care of ourselves and be with in the public at the same time.
Sure, that happened to me too. And you need to find the balance for everything. Thank you very much for being here tonight.
Thanks to you for inviting us. Well, that's all for now, but before we go, here are the results of the survey. But after this announcement.